Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the U.S. Nationals recap, kind of talk about some of the top lists, both from the U.S. Nats event itself, as well as the Calling Las Vegas, which was going on alongside of it, and just kind of give you a complete recap of the event. So we'll get right into it. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy your stay. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do Flesh and Blood content as well as Alpha Clash content. And then if you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Sorry if I'm a little haphazard. It's late at night and I'm trying to knock out some videos here. So I wanted to get into it. And I normally start on their articles page for Flesh and Blood, but I wanted to come to their deck list page because I might have new people here that aren't 100% familiar with the website. So if you are, you can skip a little bit ahead until I start talking about the articles. But this is the deck list under their events tab at fabtcg.com, and they'll give you a bunch of the lists from recent events, especially big events. So as you can see here, they uploaded the U.S. Nats top 8 as well as the Calling Las Vegas and some other stuff. So some really, really cool stuff that you can look at here. Just kind of wanted to show you that as we check it out. But as we go to the recent blog that they created for US Nats, they go through an entire recap of the whole event. And they were updating this throughout the week. Really, really good stuff. If you want to check it out, definitely check it out. I'll put it down in the description below. But Charles Dunn ended up being the winner of the U.S. Nationals, ended up taking out Lexi, or Evan Herndon on Lexi in the final. And, man, it was such a fun, unique event. I have so many things I could say, and I'm trying to make this video not super long, but I just want to kind of say that this event, in my opinion, was like a testament to what makes Flesh and Blood such a good game, and that's just the diversity in deck building and the diversity in general in the game. Like, people, complain about aggro or fatigue or whatever. I've been on both sides of the coin in one way or another. But overall, like, just the uniqueness of some of these top players being able to do what they did. Like, for example, Charles Dunn won on Briar, took Briar into Living Legend, was the final win Briar needed in order to get over the hump. And he did it on a Briar list that did not run Channel Mount Heroic, and it didn't run Rosetta Thorn. The two, other than Ball Lightning and the early Lightning Briar list, the two biggest calling cards for Briar since the Ball Lightning ban, it's crazy as I'm pulling up the list here. It's crazy that, the win that put Briar over the top was a fatigue-oriented, I want to say fatigue, I feel like that's bad to say, but a slow-oriented Briar list. As you can see here, running just honestly 3 cost 7 attacks or big attacks, and then running a lot of defense reactions, stuff like Red Autumn's Touch, Command and Conquer, Diabolic Ultimatum in the sideboard for Icelander, Enlightened Strike, Evergreen, Findle's Fighting Spear, Raging Onslaught. As you can see, all of these just 3-for-7s, just giant 3-for-7s with the occasional Scar for a Scar, and everything else was blues in order to pitch for it. And I bring this up because there's been 2 lists. I put this out on Twitter. There's 2 lists, I think, that have now defined what it means of Flesh and Blood being a great game and deck building and things of that nature. One has been Charles Dunn, Briar list now, and then Michael Hamilton's Bullander, Icelander list. So it just shows you that as much as we complain about broken heroes, including myself, like Starvo and Chain and these crazy, crazy good heroes, it shows you that you can do something different. You can be different in your deck building. So I just want to say, before I go over this really fast, definitely try new things. Yes, it may not work. It may not be the best build in the world, but try new things. Don't try at least to attempt to deck build and do new things and think outside the box. Now, if you just want to take someone's deck because it's fun to play, go ahead, do it. I will never shame anybody for doing that. But I'm just saying, if someone disagrees with an idea you have, play the idea out first before you let it go. Just a thought. So anyway, that's enough of my soapbox. We had the top 8 here. Ended up being, let's see, as we talked about the other day, 3 Lexis, 2 Briars, 2 Icelanders, and a Jeremiah. And we had Charles Dunn ended up taking out an Icelander and 2 Lexis on his way to the finals. And we had a lot of notable players in this top 8. So many. I mean, Michael Hamilton, obviously defending world champion. You had Lucas Oswald and Evan, both young guns in the scene, both doing really, really well. Matt Cole's well-known player. Finno Black, extremely well-known player. Daniel and Charles and Craig. All these people are veterans, right? It's either veterans or like brand new, like basically like young prodigies in the game. It was a super stacked top 8. But Charles ended up taking it. We also had the call in Las Vegas, which Yuki Lee Bender took on Lexi. Super excited to see Yuki finally crack another win with her favorite hero. Seeing how Yuki just has I think since Lexi went away from like slightly more ice based list into this like just straight aggro list, I think Yuki's not struggled with the list whatsoever, but she might have struggled with like the thematics of what she loved about the list. And I think that so seeing her finally like get over the hump and getting that win was well deserved. That top 8 for the calling was what? Let's see. I haven't looked at this yet. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 Lexis. Looks like we had 2 Dromais, a Uziri. I'll have to take a look at that list, and a Bravo. And our top 4 was 4 different heroes in the top 4. Dromai, Lexi, Bravo, Icelander. Arguably the top 4 heroes in the game right now are the top 4 of the calling, which is really, really cool. And then finally, Bravo versus Lexi in the final. And if you go to Yuki Lee Bender's Twitter, you can see she kind of gives a breakdown of how that final match went, at least. It seemed like it was really, really close until the end. So that's how that went. Then we had the battle-hardened top 8. Michael Fang dominating with Chain. Chain's still the top dog in Blitz. It kind of hasn't changed. And the top 8 here kind of shows that. We had 4 Chains, 3 Kanos, and a Briar. The top 4 was 3 Chains. I mean, even in my like skirmish, it was a cut to top 4, and all 4 it was 3 Chains and a Bolton, and then my Ira was 5th. So like it's just how it kind of goes. But really, really cool. In the Battle Hardened, they had 243 participants, which is really crazy. Let's see if Alice says the calling had pretty much 600, right? 599 participants. And then U.S. Nationals itself, does it say how many it had? 522 players, right? Insane numbers just for the U.S., right? Like this wasn't like a world-based event. The U.S. numbers are getting crazier and crazier every single year. It's really, really cool to see how things have happened and things have kind of broken down. Even this is the Blitz breakdown. As you can see, it goes through all the Battle Hard. I won't go through every little thing here, but it kind of gives you like the constructed metagame, all this stuff. They even did the cosplay contest, which was really cool. The winner was Data Doll. Really, really cool stuff. I love how they kept it in like the thematics who they actually are. So Leave No Witnesses, Lexi, Oldheim, Shiana, Yorick, Young Dash, and Spears of Sorality. So many cool cosplayers. Like just great event overall. And it keeps going down. It keeps talking about other stuff they did. They had a PTI event, which Kano took down. And then it goes into like the older versions of the article where they were going day by day. But definitely check this article out. Before we get going, though, I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on like some of like how the metagame is, and does Briar leaving kind of change anything? I don't think Briar leaving really changes anything. I think Briar was like in her own spot. I don't think anybody was really teching specifically for Briar. I do think, though, that Charles doing what he did with Briar is going to, at least in the short term, maybe not for Worlds, but I think you're going to see it at your local level. I think you're going to see it at regional levels. I think people are going to start trying to make their favorite hero a fatigue deck. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but even like the last 2 days, like I've been playing Uziri, really trying to, get better with her. Been really grinding and testing her out. And I also been testing out Turtle Katsu deck. I'm a part of that change. And I'm telling you right now, in just 2 to 3 days of Talishar post event for US Nats, or 2 days at this point, I've seen Fatigue Viscerai with Reaping Blade. I've seen literally Fatigue Dromai with literally 70 plus cards to start when it didn't make sense to run that many cards. I've seen not Fatigue Dory list, but a Dory list with a crap ton of D-Reacts. I literally just played against a Tree Frog Dash. Like, I think a lot of, and then I'm obviously testing Turtle Katsu. I think a lot of people are going to try to make their favorite hero a little bit more fatiguey and a little bit slower pace. It's going to be interesting to see how a deck like Charles Dunn affects just the mentality of how like impressionable players play, especially since we don't have a premier. I mean, we have Lexi. She's a premier aggro deck, but we don't have like a Chain or something like that. Like, if you're not playing Lexi, there other than Lexi, there is no premier aggro deck. So it's gonna be funny to see how people change like what they're doing, and just how they overall, you know, kind of change their whole thought process of what types of decks they like to play, right? Maybe not what the best decks are, might not change. I don't think it'll change much because I don't think Briar leaving really makes a deck better or worse. But I do think people are going to go more of the fatigue route, and it's going to be really, really cool to see kind of just how that changes all the impressions. But definitely check out these decks. I'm going to do a couple like overlooks. I'm not going to try like a psychoanalyze the Briar deck. I don't know that deck well enough to do that. All I know is it's really cool how Charles took that deck and made it his own. And it's really funny to see Briar hit Living Legend and Rosetta Thorn be Living Legend, and the deck that put it into Living Legend didn't use any of its like main power cards. It's just so funny. So definitely keep on the lookout for more fatigue decks. I'm gonna be doing a deck tech just for fun on my Turo Katsu deck. I'm still testing it. I want to make sure like it's actually a good solid deck that I would feel comfortable like telling someone to try for fun. I will say early impressions, I don't think Turtle Katsu is insane by any means. It's definitely not like Fatigue Briar or Oldheim or anything like that. I think it's a good Fatigue deck. I still think Uziri is a little bit better just because I think Turtle Katsu is more efficient than Uziri is with damage for sure, and doesn't get and wins like so like if it does better against another Fatigue deck than Uziri would because just the efficiency of cards, but Uziri has way more on hits, and I still think right now, in my opinion, Uziri might be the premier fatigue deck, but it's very slim margins. Regardless, and she has a better Lexi matchup. But regardless, I think it's going to be really cool to see what people do. Let me know in the comments below kind of how this tournament, if this tournament changed how you do things. We'll kind of talk about nationals as time goes on. There was I need to give credit to the list before I use it in a piece of content, but there's a list right here showing like all the different nationals and like who won and stuff. Again, I'm not going to feature that until I remember who I can credit the content to, because I just don't like doing that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Did you have fun this weekend? If you were at Vegas, let me know. Hopefully I can make it out to more events. Just, life gets in the way. But I am definitely going to the Calling in Dallas in October for sure. So I'll see anybody that's playing there. And who I don't know I'm going to be playing yet. I really don't know. That'll be just after Bright Lights come out too. So we'll see if that changes anything at all as well. Yeah, hopefully you like this type of content. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you would like to see. I'm going to try to do some Katsu stuff, some deck tech stuff. I just don't want to regurgitate the same content over and over. I'm not going to lie to y'all. And I'm really enjoying making Alpha Clash content too. So, even if you don't play Alpha Clash, give it a little love. I rarely ask for people to purposefully comment on something just for the algorithm boost. But if you can for Alpha Clash, you don't have to watch the video. You could literally open up the tab, hit play, mute it, and then switch tabs and just leave a comment. You could be like, hey, comment or hi or whatever. I just want to get it in the algorithm more so other people that maybe are looking for Alpha Clash content see it. So if y'all have 5 seconds of your day to go, leave a comment on one of those videos or give it a thumbs up, that'd be really, really cool. I really appreciate y'all. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see y'all next time on TC Talk. Thank y'all so much.